Well, the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Bill Cruz Baldiles, counsel appearance.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Baldiles, who is here for his arraignment.
Okay, Mr. Baldiles, how are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Today was the date and the time set for arraignment. I do have a felony complaint here. It alleges that on or about April 29, 2023, at the address of City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, that you did contrary to law commit the act in count 1 of police officer assaulting, resisting, obstructing. The allegation is that you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Rebecca Hare, a police officer of the Lansing Police Department, that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his or her duties contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.81. D1. That's a felony. The maximum penalty is 2 years and or $2,000 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed under MCL 750.506A if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. There is or under MCL 750.81D6 for another violation arising from the same transaction. There is a count 2, police officer assaulting, resisting, that alleges that you did assault, batter, wound, resist, obstruct, oppose, or endanger Officer Michael Fomby, a police officer of the Lansing Police Department, that the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his or her duties contrary to MCL 750.81D1. Again, that's a felony. Maximum penalty 2 years and or $2,000 in fines. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under MCL 750.506A if the assault was committed in a place of confinement, or under MCL 750.81D6 for another violation arising from the same transaction. There's a count 3 of attempted peace officer disarming non-firearm. It alleges that you did attempt to commit the following listed offense, and in the attempt did act towards the commission of that offense, but failed in the perpetuation or was prevented in the execution thereof, and that was done contrary to MCL 750.92, and that is take a taser from the lawful possession of Rebecca Hare, a peace officer with the Lansing Police Department, contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.479B1. This is a high court misdemeanor. Maximum penalty 2 years or $1,000 in fines. Upon conviction of an attempted felony, the court shall order law enforcement to collect DNA identification profiling sampling. There's a count 4 of domestic violence that alleges that you did make an assault or an assault and battery upon a Roberta, a resident or former resident of your household or your spouse, and that this was contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.812. Restitution may be ordered as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. That count 4 is a misdemeanor with the maximum penalty of 93 days in jail and of $500 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. There is, however, a second offense notice. It says, take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of assaulting or assaulting and battering his or her spouse, former spouse, an individual with whom he or she had a dating relationship, an individual with whom she had a child in common, or a resident or former resident of his or her household, or of knowingly assaulting a pregnant individual by violating MCL 750.812 on or about January 6, 2012, and therefore upon conviction will be subject to an enhanced sentence under MCL 750.814 that makes count 4 a misdemeanor, maximum penalty 1 year and or $1,000 in fines. Count 5 of assault or assault and battery alleges that you did make an assault or assault and battery upon the following person, that being a, and that was contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.811. Restitution may be ordered as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. This is a misdemeanor, maximum penalty 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. Again, a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Mr. Valdez, do you understand the charges and the maximum penalty associated with each charge?
Yes.
Is he making a request for court-appointed counsel?
He is.
Okay, Mr. Valdez, you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say and anything you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty. You can plead not guilty, or you can stand mute. You are being charged with felonies, so you have the right in this matter to proceed to preliminary examination. And you have the right to have your preliminary examination within 21 days of today's date, that being your date of arraignment. Do you have any questions about your trial rights?
No.
You're currently scheduled for a probable cause conference, and that's before Judge Cynthia Ward, and it's going to be May 12th, 2023 at 8:30 in the morning. You have a preliminary examination scheduled before Judge Ward in person at the court, May 19th, 2023 at 8:30, okay?
Okay.
So your probable cause can be held via Zoom, or you can appear in person, but your preliminary examination, you must appear in person. Did you get a copy of the notice to appear, sir?
No.
You did not
Sure,
yet?
right there. Yeah,
No.
It's in front of you, yes, you got it.
it's right there.
What is it?
Your
Notice to
notice to
appear.
appear.
It's the purple piece of paper, sir.
I guess so.
Okay, very good. Okay. Are you currently on probation, parole, or out on bond on another
No.
matter?
No.
Okay, were you recently on probation, sir?
I've been on probation, but that was like 8 years ago.
Okay. You weren't on probation in October 2022?
No.
Okay. You can address bond counsel.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry, and the court will enter a plea of not guilty on his behalf.
Thank you. Mr. Baldiaz represents that he's lived in Lansing for over a year with his family, his wife, his 2 minor kids, and his adult child also lives here with him. He is a veteran of 7 years with the U.S. Army and was honorably discharged, and also is on VA assistance. So he does not have a 9-to-5 job. He told me that he hasn't had recent serious convictions, and he also understands that there may be a no contact order with the alleged victims here, and will have to stay away from these people. I believe it may be a family member, and he understands that. He promises to appear for court. He told me that he's always appeared in his prior matters and plans to appear if released. He would request a PR bond with the understanding that he cannot talk to any complaining witnesses, engage in any assaults of harassing behavior, and must appear at court when he is supposed to, like he's indicated he has a record of doing. And we would ask for a PR bond. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Baldiaz, are you currently employed?
No.
Okay, and that address on Kelsey, that's your home address?
Yes.
And you do not yet have an address where you would stay during the pendency of this matter?
The only address I got to stay at this matter is in Purim, Oklahoma.
Okay, well, one of your bond.
If I can't go back and see her, if I can't go back and see her, then Oklahoma is the only way I got.
If you can't go back and see who? The alleged
My
victim?
wife and my children.
Okay, well, there's going to be a no contact order in place for the protection of the alleged victims. It looks like one of them is, there's allegation of one victim being your wife. And then there's an allegation of another victim. Oh no, I think this is a family member, a wife and is it your stepson?
Yeah, he swung at me, so I
Okay.
swung back.
Okay, well, we're gonna stop you because I don't want you to say anything on the record that could be used against you. And to the extent that you believe you have a lawful defense, you'll discuss that in private with your counsel, okay?
Okay,
Okay. There's gonna be a no contact order and protection of those two parties pending this matter, but there also is gonna be an order that you're not to leave the estate without prior approval of the court.
okay.
So going to Oklahoma would not be an option for,
I have no other options besides living on the street. And I'm not
Okay.
doing that. I'm a soldier and I do not deserve that.
okay.
Almost gave my life for this country. And now this is going on over some cats that didn't even belong to us.
Okay, Mr. Valdez, you don't want to say any more because now is not the time.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are dealing with some serious allegations here, sir. It's not even just allegations of a situation involving your home, but there are at least 2 counts of that you're being charged with for assaulting or resisting an officer, 2 separate officers, and then an allegation that you attempted to disarm an officer. So this is a serious interaction that's being alleged here. This is not just an action involving some cats as alleged, okay?
I swung at him and 8
Now,
cops
well,
jumped on top of him.
sir.
Mr. Valdez, now is not the time.
Okay, you said he's engaged with the VA right now?
Yes.
Okay, is he receiving any services through the VA at this time?
I'm not sure. Are you receiving any services?
Yeah, I get like $880.
No, I mean like any services as it relates to counseling or treatment or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
I've never had to ask him for anything. This has always happened, and the judge right at the beginning told me that you stay out of trouble and be good, and told me to leave his room. So I did.
okay, I definitely need an address of where you're gonna stay. And you said what's in Oklahoma? You say you're from Oklahoma?
Yes, my mother lives there and my brothers. I'm the only one that lives out of state.
Gotcha. Okay, bond will be set in the amount of 2,500 personal recognizant with GPS tether. While out on bond, you need to appear for all of your future court dates. You've been provided your next 2 court dates so far. You're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with do you understand that?
Yeah, but how am I supposed to get my clothes?
Well, do you understand that there's a no contact order first?
How am I supposed to get clothes? Yes, I answered you, ma'am. I said yes, but now I'm asking, how am I supposed to get my clothes and my belongings?
Okay, you can make arrangements for that, but it can involve you having contact directly or indirectly with those 2 parties. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay,
I still don't understand how I'm supposed to get my clothes.
okay.
Can
Well,
I
we'll talk about
ask her to leave, and that way she's there by herself? That way I'm there by myself and I can grab my stuff and leave?
You can make arrangements to have law enforcement accompany you there.
I don't like law enforcement. I don't like law enforcement. That's why I'm asking if I can ask her to leave, can I go there by myself, grab my stuff and get out of her house?
No, you can't ask her to leave because you can't have contact with her. So you don't understand the no contact order then.
Yes, I do understand the contour, ma'am, but how am I supposed to get my clothes?
Mr. Valdez, the judge is trying to explain that you're gonna have to, if you want to get out of jail and get your stuff, you're gonna have to have law enforcement come with you. That's the only way. It's normal.
I don't
And
trust any of them. I don't trust any of them. After them 2 pulled a gun on me, I don't trust any of them.
Well, the alternative, unfortunately, would be to stay in jail, and I know we don't want to see that happen.
And then she said I reached for her pepper spray, even though she
Now,
was on
now's
top of
not the
my
time to
head.
talk about it. I'm just gonna give you one last warning just to just answer the judge's questions if you understand them.
What's the judge's name?
My name is Judge Kristen Simmons.
Okay, that's all I need.
I'm sorry?
That's all I needed.
Okay, are you ready for me to continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're not to be within 1,500 feet of wherever is or. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I reckon.
You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon while you're on probation. I'm sorry, while you're out on bond. You're not to be within. You're not to be at the address of Kelsey Road while the.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not the address, so I will go to my house. That's my neighbor's address. And I can tell her she can take the kids to the park or something like that. So I can
Okay,
get my
well,
stuff.
it's apparent. It's apparent that he's not going to follow court orders. So your
Yes, I
bond.
am.
Your
I
bond,
just
no,
told you that. I'm gonna.
your bond is set at 5,000 cash surety, GPS tether, and victim notification. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about bond conditions and how you can get around the bond conditions. I'm not gonna make arrangements for you to get your clothes. That's your business. It's not mine. I'm gonna tell you how the court order is gonna run and you figure it out, okay? And I'm
Okay.
also not gonna go back and forth with you, okay? This is not Mr. Baldia's court, okay? It's not what he wants.
No, but when do I get to speak? On my behalf.
You've been speaking the whole time. You've been speaking the whole
No,
entire
you've been-
time. And if you keep going back with me, you can speak to the magistrate tomorrow, and I'll remand you.
And then what?
I can remand you, and you can speak to the magistrate tomorrow if you want to keep going back and forth. If I can't conduct an arraignment, I'm going to discontinue it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I'll watch my mouth. No one.
Thank you. The bond. What is your home address? I actually was at the address on Kelsey Street. This paperwork says it's. Is that not your address?
No.
You're not to be at the address of Kelsey Road, City of Lansing, Eaton County, State of Michigan. I had already told you not to be wherever the victims live, work, or go to school. So even if the address was misstated on the paperwork, that doesn't give you the right to go to the address. That'd be in violation of the no contact order. You understand that that's still a bond violation, correct?
Can I contact my family and have them pick up my stuff from them? Which I have no family, but can I have someone please get my stuff? I'm walking around in what your officers threw me in mud and then forced my face into the mud and then threatened to pull a taser gun on me. Knowing I have heart conditions, I'm a VA veteran. It's hard for me to understand some things when I don't make sure of what that is. I don't know what it is that I've done wrong.
Okay. I'm not disputing that you're not sure as how you got here or you're not sure what you did that was in violation of law. That's not the dispute. What I'm asking if you understand the bond conditions, that's what I need to know, okay? You can figure out how you got here with your attorney in private and not on the record where you're stating things that are being recorded and can be used against you. Okay, that's not the appropriate time. Excuse me?
So I understand.
Okay, and so the no contact order, you have to be within 1,500 feet. Who could you potentially call to other than these two protected parties to get your things?
In Oklahoma, I have no family here. I have nobody here but my wife and children. They're the only ones I know besides me and Tom.
If your family is able to come up from Oklahoma and want arrangements to be made for them to have third-party contact to get your things, then you talk to your attorney and they'll make sure that the court addresses any orders that will prohibit third-party contact for that purpose. As of right now, the only provision is that you may go with law enforcement to the address to one time to receive your personal items, okay? That's your option. Also, while out on bond, you're not to possess firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to leave the state without prior approval of the court. You need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Your bond is 2,500 cash surety with GPS tether. Any additional matters for the record?
What
No,
does that
thank you.
mean?
I'll explain that
It
to you.
means you're all set, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Right this way, sir.